as a leader, you got to continue to look at, okay, do we continue to have the same players in line? Do we continue to, because if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And this is not an attack to nobody's character. This is an attack to don't move the bench line just to make other people feel good, or don't move the bench line just to for you as a leader feel good. And I want to say that majority of the time when your team is not winning, it goes back to your leader.
Yo, welcome back to the Paralyzed To Prosperous Podcast, where we focus on business, leadership, personal development, and of course, keeping it authentic. Jorge, talk to me today. How you doing, my man?
We good, man. We good, man. God is good. I'm blessed to wake up this morning. I'll be honest with you. You guys know that, I'm someone that I always look at not the cup being halfway full, halfway empty, but me being the cup. But I'm not gonna lie, man, I lost someone very dear to me, about a few days ago. This gentleman, his name is Roy, one of the founders of Rob Roy Academy, passed away on the 13th. And, my heart is broken, man. My heart is broken. And it's like, this was not only, a mentor, a friend, but a father figure in so many different ways. Mind you, when I showed up to his school, y'all all remember me talking about, rolling up at the school, talking to Shorty in front of the school, and then rolling up and then just going in there. And me reflecting back, like my circle of influence was just like, it described where I was and how I looked. And so when I entered that school and I committed to going to that school, man, I met Roy, and I remember, rolling, going through the hallways, and first time I came across this man, sharp, suited up, smell like money. I'm like, I used to tell him all the time, you smell like money. Like, he just look right. Like and I instantly, when I seen Roy, I just loved how he was able to captivate the room. He was able to captivate the room. He was able to literally just be in a space that, how you call it? He has this charm and swag about him. And it really helped me. It really helped me see, this was the first time that I was able to see someone, and I was like, yo, I want to be just like that. Like DJ, like, what I'm saying? Now my man, I think he comes from, I don't know his what his nationality. He'll kill me, but he's he just has this swag to him, And so when I met Roy, I was like, yo, like I don't know what my man does or how he does it, and I knew that was his school, but I was like, I want to learn from him. And that was my first mentor. That was my first, how you call it, just father figure, a positive male role that I could see, that I was like, yo, I want to inspire like him. And so, I remember going through the program, mind you, this man didn't really know me like that, but this is just to give you of what his character of leadership looked like, right? I graduated, so in the state of Massachusetts, you have to do 1,000 hours, physically 1,000 hours in the school. You get a certificate. After you get your certificate, you go get your license, and you submit for at that time, you had to do a practical and then a written. But you couldn't register to take the test unless you were actually completing your hours. Now, there's this thing called overtime fees, meaning that if you go past your certain 1,000 hours, they actually they tax you a certain amount of hours. So my bill, some folks, man, they have 2,000 or 3,000, 5,000. Some people only owe $500. By the time my program was over, I owed them $1,000. Mind you, your boy didn't have no job at this time. I was going through it. I was just like, man, I don't know what that looks like. And I remember rolling through the hallway, and Roy seen me. He's like, yo, like, he's seen it in me. He's like, yo, like, you good? And I'm like, I'm good. And he's like, nah. Come on, talk. So he had this thing that he would grab my face with both hands, and he would just like smack me, like And I remember when he first did that, I looked at this man like, bro, I will, like, what are you doing, bro? Like, why are you touching my foot? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, for real. Because I at that time, man, you couldn't get that close to me. And if you did, it's because I really liked you. And you know, but that was just him showing love. He was just so affectionate. And he was like, what's wrong? He brought me into the office instantly. And so I shared with him. I was like, well, like, this is what's happening. I owe $1,000. I just don't know where I'm going to. And what happened is that if you didn't get the money by the time your graduation day was there, they would have to give you a LOA or like they would stop, like you would have to come back. And I was disappointed because, mind you, I've never really accomplished nothing to this point in my life. Like, this was the first time that I had started something, and I was just almost there to finish it. And so I was, you know, it's like that same experience always that you get crushed right before you're about to win the game or even get you know, get on the other side of whatever that struggle was. And he's like, oh, that's it? Mind you, this brother got on the phone. He called his best friend, president of the Millbury Credit Union, which is a bank out here, and he said, go see this man. I literally went to see that dude like a couple hours after I got out of school. I had a business loan for $1,000. That business loan that the bank gave me is what captivated first. It was a catalyst to my first home. It was a catalyst to my like everything. And it was because I was able to not only finish school, but I was able to establish credit. And I was just like, and so that was the beginning of our relationship, you know, and I was just like, I'm always blown away for the last 20 something years. He's always, you know, he always just was able to step in and mentor me, you know, treat me like one of his kids and just, you know, love on me. Anytime I did a barber event or any event, he was part of it. He would sponsor it. Like, over the years, he just, you know, always kept it 100 with me, man, no matter what. And my man was a millionaire. Like, you know, my man had 5 campuses, multiple properties, multiple businesses. Like, he just didn't come across like that. So I've always aspired to, you know, I was like, yo, I love being around this brother. I love being around this energy and the information, right? The information was priceless. Now I'm blessed too that as he transitioned, him and his partner transitioned and their daughters took over, which is Tracy and Deb, man, it's been an honor to still be in the mix with them, be in the front lines with them, working with them, and just, you know, and I was just reflecting like, yo, this family, you know, both families, Rob and Roy, have welcomed me and embraced me and you know, and loved on me and taught me and still give me opportunities to work with their organizations. So I owe everything. Like, as I look back, like, yeah, no, you know, they opened some doors and I had to go through it and put in the work and commit myself and do. But the fact that after 20-something years, I'm still have a relationship with these folks, and just losing them right now, it really, you know, it hit home and it reminded me, let's not forget what we're doing here. Time doesn't wait for no one. Let's not forget our legacy. And I put a video not too long ago of him, you know, a couple years back. Like, I went and I had an event out here that he came and sponsored, and he came himself, and I'm hugging him and we hugging each other and I'm standing, and you know, his legacy, as long as I have air in my lungs, his legacy will continue, man. His legacy will. So yeah, that brother right there, true meaning of a leader, of a man of character, you know, and legacy. Yeah, I've learned a lot, been blessed to be able to be, you know, have that amazing individual in my life and be able to just really see what it looks like, man. I could, to this day, DJ, I can't get the smell of money that he's always had on him. Like, my man just had this aura of him. I'm like, yo, yeah, you definitely are who you say you are. So yeah, that's where
thank God for him, because we thank God for him, because like the way you tell him the story, without him, you know, him being there for you, God put him in place, there would be no you here today. You know what I'm saying? Doing what you're doing. So,
well, let's take a step back, right? If he wasn't doing what he needed to do, I would have never found
living on his purpose.
Put aside even the relationship that he built with me on the side, because that was I don't want y'all to really forget. Like, let's really think about what we're talking about. I was able to build a relationship with my guy, like no level. Like, this is the first man that really loved on the kid, taught me and embraced me, and just told me like, yo, you have everything it takes. Don't let nobody like, right. He would feed that to me. Mind you, if he wasn't obedient to what he was called to do, I would have never even met him through that school and the legacy. And that's just, as I reflect in the last couple of days, it's just going back to what we're doing here with JSA, like creating opportunities, creating platforms. And every time, like, we got in a call and you say you working with a young lady that I worked with a couple of, months back or years back or whatever it is. And it's just, even though it's a big world, it's really a small world, man. Everything's connected somehow.
Very true. Everything's connected somehow. Alalai, talk to me. How are you doing today on this Sunday?
What's up, guys? Me and my technical issues this morning.
Dun, dun, dun.
I know, so corny, right? I'm good. I'm great. I am making some transitions in the next couple days, which I'm excited about. I actually, for those of you who don't know, I am in property management, and that's the other thing I do when we talk about your girl always being busy. So I'm in property management, trying to take care of residents, trying to manage the asset, and I'm transitioning out of that particular location and going to a different location. That being said, I had quite a few residents show up for your girl, come bring gifts, come, stop in, have conversations with me. A few of them were panicked. They were panicked that I was, taking on some different roles or whatnot at a different location. And it was just very interesting to me. It was like, it's confirmation to know that I'm doing right by people, and like people believe in the things that I were doing to take care of them and to make sure the business was getting handled. And at the same time, even just, hearing you talk about legacy, Jorge, it's like, we're doing things daily to impact legacy. Like sometimes we think about it like the long run, right? Like it's 20, 30, 40 years down the road, but you don't think about the things that you do day to day to impact people's lives, that like they remember you, And so it's been good. It's been bittersweet, but I'm definitely ready for the next transition. And so, yeah, today I'm going to attempt to rest today. But yeah, getting ready for the next chapter and some new opportunities that are opening up. So I'm excited.
Man, listen, I'm going to keep 100 with y'all. Y'all have to understand, like, how cold Alalai is at her job. You know what I'm saying? Like, the fact that she was, we're not going to get deep into it, but the fact that she's seen a specific problem and was like, okay, no, I've done this for a while. I know what this should look like. No, I'm going to go ahead and transition. And the fact that she was able to transition so great, that shows you, like, she cares for her job and she does it to the fullest. That's why she's able to do this entrepreneur stuff to the fullest. You know what I'm saying? Because she started where she should have started. You know what I'm saying? She took advantage of the opportunity. You know what I'm saying? So that, I think that's super dope. When you told me they hit you back in like what, 10 days turnaround, something like that? 10 days less?
Real quick.
I was like, yeah, that makes sense. So we know who you are. You are who you say you are. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
it's been a blessing. Like I said, I'm excited. I'm excited to see what's next.
I'm excited too. I can't wait to, especially the first week. I'm gonna hit you up and see how it's rocking. So, as you saying, you have some technical difficulties, and the subject today is performing under pressure. Performing under pressure. Now, this subject, like we said, man, the greats have performed under pressure. I'm saying, think about, and I guess I'm thinking the movie form right now, but think about the Wolf on Wall Street. You know what I'm saying? I just watched the George Foreman movie. Look at his template. All these dudes is performed under pressure, I'm sorry, and winning at a high level, right? So let's go to a more modern, example. We have Colorado right now, football. First of all,
they performed under pressure last night.
I'm not a football man whatsoever. Y'all never heard me even talk about football.
Man,
but
you gotta get on this side of things, man.
Bruh, I will say I woke up at 2 a.m. to look at the Colorado score. What am I doing? You know what I'm saying? But it just shows, like, bro, this man is building such a culture that it's not about football no more. It's about how can I bring the culture together as a whole.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? It's not about sports. It's about how can we come together and win, right? But besides that, think about what they're doing right now. They're performing under pressure. They're coming in playing some of the best schools. They're coming in down fourth quarter, and they're performing under pressure. Now, I have a couple things just based off social media, based off of, the news, why I think they are killing it like this. Some things that I kind of noticed, but I want to talk to y'all about it. How do y'all feel about Colorado, what they're doing, and of course, the subject of performing under pressure?
Man, listen. Can I be honest with you? I don't think there's such thing as performing under pressure when you're about your business. Like I just think I was just having a conversation with you. Like, I just think that, some folks do things 1 foot in, 1 foot out. I was just on a call this morning and someone's like, oh, like, it's this person's fault. But in the same breath came and said, well, I'm not doing X, Y, Z either. So it's like, okay, which one is it? Like, you want results, but you're not willing to operate off of that greatness. And what does that greatness mean? It's just commitment, showing up. You have to understand that for someone to win a game, like they went at it, man. It was 43-35. They were down by, I believe, by second quarter, they were down by a touchdown. Third quarter, there was no scores from either team. They came back, and fourth quarter, Colorado State scores a touchdown, and they came back and scored 2 touchdowns on them. Like, do you understand, like, the consistency that you have to be able to operate off for you to be able to be looked at as like you're one of those individuals that could operate off under pressure? It's just this, there's just a level of mindset when you refuse to lose, like, period. And so there's a level of commitment. These brothers are not practicing in game time. Since the beginning of the season, they started off with just I call it a chip on their shoulders. Okay, you think that your opinion matters of me? This is what we're gonna do, right? They didn't leave it for the, like, I've been watching this, so everybody had an opinion. It still has an opinion, and some of these folks that had opinion from game one is like, oh, okay, well, maybe, okay, now you're retracting what you said, right? Because on paper, it looked like these folks were gonna come in and they were just gonna be a show. Nah, they're the real deal. So now they're 3-0. You got teams that are better than them that are 0-1, 0-2, right? And off of what? I mean, we're talking about work, building on, exceeding under pressure. I don't think that under pressure, to me, is those individuals that already tested themselves, and they continue to test themselves when it's not game time. Like preparation, consistency, showing up, not making excuses why you're not doing what you need to do or why the results are not happening. That's why this whole year has been about me taking ownership. And it's something that I've just, in the last couple of years, but this year's been I've been a lot more aggressive. Alalai and DJ would just say, nah, that's, like, if we're not winning, it's just, what am I doing? Like, why is that? Like, because again, there's some tangible steps that we need to understand that have to go for you to be able to go under pressure and say, number one, I'm going to get the results I want, regardless of what it looks like. Number two, that team, Colorado State was really hitting them. Like, they went in there to play. This was not they didn't just run over this team. They went at it all 4 quarters. So it wasn't give it to them. But it was like, who has the dog? Okay, so, like I always say, man, keeping it 100 goes wrong sometimes. There's a lot of young brothers out here and sisters, and they think, I'm going to keep it 100, and it goes wrong sometimes, because what you don't understand is that, you're going to go into certain situations, you're going to get punched in, you're going to feel it. How you respond to that is, and I'm not talking about physical, right? I'm talking about just in life. I'm talking about entrepreneurship. I'm talking about, we make decisions in regards to, like, we see that the world, this whole new thing of entrepreneurship, serial entrepreneur, and it's like, I'm going to go ahead and do that But in real life, in 9 to 5, you don't like following rules. You don't like structure. You don't like committing. You just don't even operate off of that in that space. You think it's gonna be easier because now you say, "Oh, I own my own time." No, the reality is this: you don't own your time when you're in entrepreneurship. The reality is this: you don't have a structure, a system that you go in, punch in, and punch out. You have to do what? You got to go out there, create the system. Then you got to hold yourself accountable within that system, and then you got to make sure that you go out there and produce for that system. Because guess what? If there's no profit, no sales and no profit, then you're playing make believe business. So again, these brothers that we're talking about, man, shout out to the coach, right? Players, because from top to bottom, they've been in sync, and they know what the mission statement is for the year. They know what their vision is. They know how they want to do it, and they leave it all in the field. So through the season, when they do lose a game, ain't nobody needs to be disappointed. They're just gonna reset and go back. Mark my words. When that time comes, I prefer them to lose a game during the season early, and then take the big boy trophy, so they could get that get that off their system, because it is the loss are part of a win. Like that's part of the you need to feel that sting, and you need to be able to. So that's where I'm at with that, man. Like right there to me, it's just like, yo, that's a level of greatness. But it start off with coach, and coach has been, he's been doing this on all aspects of it. When he was a professional, when he was doing the announcing with prime is prime time, baby.
He's different. Before I want to talk about that chip on the shoulder thing to you. It's like when you have a quote unquote chip on your shoulder. You know what I'm saying? When you have a quote unquote chip on your shoulder, it's really about understanding that it's you versus you. The chip is not everybody else. Having a chip on your shoulder is cool because it pushes you, but it's you versus you. And I feel like everybody always thinks that chip on the shoulder is everything else around, you know what I'm saying, weighing down on them. No, it's you versus you. I learned that with LeBron and Austin Reeves, because I was like, okay, everybody has had problems playing LeBron throughout the year. Not the Kobe's, but the Kyries and people like that, right? Okay, they have this problem because in a sense, their chip is LeBron, not themselves or the game or the goal, right? And I'm sitting here looking at Austin Reeves like, why? Like, bro, he looks scary, he looked like somebody that will fold in the presence of LeBron, but he's not, because it's him versus him. His chip on the shoulder is him versus him, right? And that man got swag. So when it comes down to it, man, that chip on that shoulder has to be you versus you.
Yeah. You're right. It's you can't be trying. It's if you're not challenging yourself, man, and you're not making sure your number one target is you and always bettering yourself, then you're gonna lose the game. That's just the reality.
Yeah.
Talk to me, Adeline.
Yeah, I think, one of the things so let me back up. I grew up in the South. My dad's a football fan. You know how it is, okay? But I grew up, my dad was a Dallas Cowboys fan, so I watched Deion Sanders play with the Cowboys when I was a little girl, right? So I think it's different being an adult, watching him coach these different teams and the level of success he has had. That being said, when it comes down to performing under pressure, and what I have observed, and I hope the listeners are really hearing the principles of what we're saying, because it's not really about football. It's about how you show up and the decisions that you make in circumstances that you can't necessarily control, right? So when it comes to performing under pressure, let's keep it 100. The man was performing under pressure before he ever got to Colorado. And we're talking about the transition. Because remember, people had a problem with the fact that he was leaving Jackson State, right? So you have this pressure of, do I stay for the sake of making other people happy and appeasing other people, or do I take another opportunity? And then you get there, and then there's doubts about what you can do because of your history. That's another form of pressure. And then there are people criticizing what you're doing and how you're impacting the culture and the transfer portal. And on every step of the way, there's been criticism, critiques, pressure about how he needs to show up. Should he be himself in those positions, right? In the position that he's in? Should he take the same swag. She take the same strategy into Colorado. And so I think it's something that we need to learn and really consider. It's being able to have a resolve about yourself, that you're going to make the decisions that align with your purpose and what you feel called to all along the way. And the reality of it is, when we are doing that, there are a lot of people that are not going to agree with you. And that is a form of pressure. I think it's easy for us to focus about being in the game and like having those crunch time plays, right? But what about all along the way when people are like, oh, they've only won 2 games. Why are you celebrating? Why are you bringing in all these, big stars and having concerts? Y'all are talking too much. You need to humble. I've seen some of those comments. I've seen how people are responding to their excitement about winning, to their confidence. You have people saying you need to be humble because there's only 2 games that you've won. You only won 2. Y'all need to calm down. That is a form of pressure for people to say, you need to do something that's very opposite of how you're carrying yourself. You do have to, say, okay, is there some validity to this or no? And then how do you show up in that space? So then to have that resolve about yourself and to get into the game, right? The thing that everybody visualizes the game and not the preparation point, but to get into the game and then to show up, to be down, right? To be down in a way where it's 2 minutes left. People will think, oh, the game is over. And they come back and win. That able to show up for yourself, have that confidence and not let it waver just because difficulty is coming in. That is the type of pressure that I think we all have to like learn how to perform under and be consistent in.
So how? Because I'll be honest with you, and please talk to me because I want to understand the how, right? Because I'll be honest with you, I'm that dude. Like I will celebrate those 2 wins. I don't care what you think about me. I don't care. Like, yeah, we're gonna keep, and when I lose, I'm gonna celebrate that too. Like, okay, like it is what it is. That's why I said I can't wait to see them take that 1 L so they could get that off. So that's no longer a conversation, right? Because I believe that they're gonna this season they're gonna show greatness. Like, and we're gonna come back and we're gonna talk about this, right?
Can I be honest?
Please.
Can I be honest? I just off rip, just thinking about some of the interviews I've watched, some of the interactions I've seen. I don't think they're going into this expecting to lose.
No,
they're not going in this. They're not going in this expecting to lose. So where other people are like, okay, what's your first season? It's great that you won 2 games, so you might be like 5-6 or 5 and whatever, right? They're like, no, we plan on putting in every effort to get to the ball game. Not just to say,
that's it.
Oh, we won a couple and we did better than the last season. And so another example, I had a conversation with someone recently, a director at a company, and his question to me was like, well, how did I feel about this target and trying to convert these numbers and make these sales? How did I feel about hitting, 90% of the goal? Like, why don't we just aim for 90%? Why isn't that the target? And my question to him was, but why are we doing that? Why is that the standard? If we can hit 100% on the target, why not hit the 100%? Why are we aiming for less when there's room for more? Now, if we focus, prep, aim, do everything we need to do on the business side of things to hit the 100%, and then we fall at like 96%, that's different than never aiming for the 100%.
Let's stay right.
That's different. So you're selling yourself short.
Yes. Yeah, stay right there. Stay right there.
Short,
yes.
Right? Yeah, I mean, but that goes back to what I said about resolve. Like, one thing that I've seen people, talk about, Coach Sanders is, his confidence, and people think it's arrogance or whatever, but he goes in it with a resolve about himself, and he knows that he's practicing. He knows what his team is doing, right? So he's showing up expecting 100%. Y'all, they won that game last night, and he still said they played, I think his words was garbage. But he said they didn't play well. They didn't play well. And he recognized that, even when that major win they had last night, he still was like, no, we got room to do better. We should have shown up better than what we did. Like, I'm happy we won, but we still should have shown up better. And I think a lot of us have to take a step back and say, am I even doing that for myself? Or am I just accepting the bare minimum or less than the bare minimum? Just because that's all I feel like I deserve or whatever. But when you put in the work and you practice and you've gone to school and you've studied and you've done the meetings and you've done the research, why are you not aiming for the 100%?
That's facts. And also same thing goes down to the, he's too cocky, etc. That's not even. It's not.
He's convinced.
Confidence.
He's convinced.
What is it? what it is to me is literally this is repetition. Bro, I've been doing this. This ain't cocky. Like, I can say this out of my mouth, it might come out a certain way, but it's simply because I've been doing this. You know what I'm saying? So it goes back to everything y'all are saying. It goes back to putting the 10,000 hours in. It goes back to repetition. It goes back to all these things, man. But I just really hate
something real quick about that, because I'm sorry. Let me say something real quick about that. Not even about the 10,000 hours, because I think people get caught up on the 10,000 hours and they'll say, oh, well, this is how much time I put in. But one, were you showing up 100% during the time you were putting in that 10,000 hours? Like, did you prepare? Did you actually try? Because a lot of people do stuff just to say they did it.
Are you hitting that 9? Are you aiming for that 90? Are you aiming for that 90, or are you aiming for that 100 every time? Or some of y'all aiming for that 60. But anyway, go ahead. My bad.
A lot of people operate in compliance mode where they just want to be able to tell you that they completed the 10,000 hours. But when you were doing the 10,000 hours, did you fully show up? Were you in the moment? Were you learning? Did you, if you didn't learn the concept, did you go back and study it again till you got it? That's a difference. So a lot of people thought 10,000 hours, or they've been doing something. Had a conversation with someone else. Oh my gosh, I've been in this industry for 20 years. So they're telling me they've been in the industry for 20 years, but I'm looking at their work. This is not 20-year work. This isn't 2-year work. This doesn't prove that you've done anything for 20 years by the way that you're showing up and how you operate. And so the same thing for you guys that are listening, when it comes to you hitting these goals, performing under pressure, and how I started this, the things that we do daily matter. They matter, and it's a form of building a legacy. So yes, we get to talk about them winning the game now, but that's because of the days that they put in, and they don't let their players just get by with doing, hot trash. They don't let them get by with doing the bare minimum. And that's something for all of us to consider and reevaluate. Are there areas in our lives, whatever the area may be, that you are not showing up or you're doing half-heartedly, especially if you're expecting the results of someone who is showing up 100%?
So what do you do? So what do you do when you're surrounded by that energy, right? Like you on the team and dudes are just checking off. They just checking, like what does that like you know what I'm saying? Because I truly believe that, number one, people get a satisfaction of just saying, I got 10,000 hours under my thing. But you touched on it. Like, okay, 10,000 hours, but like I'll talk about the beauty industry, barber industry. You 20 in the game, and you never left your chair. You never left your back of you got your license. You've been in that, and there's no problem with that. But you've never been part of a hair show. You never been invested into doing some advanced education. You never been in a position that you have created any, right? Like you just literally checked off whatever that was within your space, and people are satisfied with that. But let's say you are, and that happens a lot with barbershops, right? You expect to go into a barbershop, and you hope that the team that you are adding yourself to is a team that is evolving, is growing. You have an owner that's willing to position you to learn more. But for those people that are in teams that they're all right with the 5 and 6. Mm-hmm. They're all right saying, oh, but we did better even though we're 5 and 6 this year, like we did better. We were 3 and 7 last year, right? Like what do you do with that mindset? And like when you're part of a squad like that.
From what perspective? Are you owning or are you on the team?
It don't even matter. You could be the owner. You could be on the team, right? I think it's just culture. I think it does matter. I think it matters about. So give me both scenarios.
Sure. So you're the owner, or are you the I'm gonna say owner, right? Or manager. Let's say you're managing a company, you have a team. You need to have a very honest conversation with yourself. Because what I found is managers who have teams that aren't performing well, they typically don't hold their teams accountable, and they are lackluster as well, right? And so if you are saying, hey, I want my team to perform at a high level, and they're not, now you need to ask yourself as a leader, why are you allowing someone who doesn't match your standards and the goals that you set for your team and your company, why are you allowing them to stay there?
Yeah.
You need to ask that question. And this is coming from someone who's like, I've had these conversations with different managers from different companies. Why is this a thing? And it comes down to, well, a lot of them don't like confrontation, which, listen, if you're going to be in any type of leadership role, you got to get comfortable confrontation quick. And it doesn't have to be negative confrontation. It's just confrontation, right?
Yep.
It's just something that's uncomfortable in the moment, but it's a challenging conversation. So you got to get comfortable with that. But if you, especially guys, especially if you own a business, you're hiring out people, and I'm saying, let me throw this out there, particularly for our minority-owned businesses, because I see this, sometimes this is a trend for our companies, that we hire people that don't fully reflect the like mission, the statement, the thing that we're trying to put out. Like, we want to have excellent service, but we don't hire the people that give excellent service. You have to get rid of those people. You give them a chance to course correct. If it's a training issue, you train them. I'm big on training people, right? You give the people the tools and everything they need to get better and to perform at a high level. And then if they don't do that, they refuse to show up, or they don't, you have to let them go. Like, it's business. It is what it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Same thing, ownership. Why do you have people, the barbershop, for instance, Jorge? If you have barbers that are consistently showing up, they are foul, they don't do business well, they're driving customers off, that is your fault if you let people stay there who aren't showing up the way they need to show up. And you have nobody to blame but yourself. So you need to readjust your team. You need to hire the right people, recruit the right, whatever you need to do. Sometimes that means getting outside help. Taking it back to Deion Sanders, right? His son is a quarterback. One of his sons is a quarterback. The guy is trained with Tom Brady. Deion Sanders was not a quarterback, but he wanted his son to be a good quarterback. So what did he do? He put his son to train with Tom Brady. You're getting outside help from people who are an expert in whatever the area is so that you can be successful. That's good business. That's smart, right? Now, another level, if you are like, let's say you're an employee, you're on a team, your coworkers are wilding out. There's a couple things you can do. You need to evaluate what I just said about the manager. Is your manager the person that's going to lead your team forward? Are they in a seat? If they said they want to do something with excellence, are they showing up in that way? If they're not, you might need to consider leaving that team. A lot of times we do this whole, like, we got to pull everybody up and bring everybody along. Sometimes that don't work all the time. Sometimes it does. Sometimes you get the right sauce in this and it's beautiful. And other times that means you either need to remove people or you got to remove yourself. If you're on a team that's not performing, that doesn't align with your goals, your ethics, or whatever, do not be afraid to remove yourself. There are other teams, other companies, whatever, that are doing things at a high level that you will sync very well with. But it's a mistake to sit up and stay with teams that aren't performing, especially for those people that aren't performers, because you end up becoming like a little bitter, a little jaded, because you're doing all the work, you're showing up, you end up compensating for other people who aren't showing up. And then what? Then you're like, okay, I'm burnt out. I'm not going to do my best now because no one else is doing their best. You got to remove yourself, put yourself in an environment to win. And sometimes that means leaving where you are.
Look at what it means.
You know what?
Real quick, DJ. Real quick, and I got you. I know you've been on that sideline, but I just want to do a statement. Under pressure definition: in a state of stress or anxiety because I'm having too much to do. Right. So, under press that could be in any form. Right. That's usually, like, even last night, like we're talking about the game that we started off with under pressure with that particular game. There was a lot to do. They were behind. It does fall into that, but that's where everything comes in regards to your preparation, in regards to who are you before you got on that field, before you go to work, before you start leading a team, what are you doing to be able to alleviate that anxiety, that pressure? Because that's really what it comes down to. Under pressure, it is something that is a lot coming at you all at once, and you have to know how to bob and weave. You have to know how to keep your posture. I always go back to Brady. I saw Brady, so always go down as one of the greats, right? Regardless of what your personal opinion. And mind you, I'm a New England hater. My bad, guys. But I love a leader, and I love high level individuals. And Brady, Belichick, high level individuals, regardless of what your personal opinion is. But his poise in the pocket, as that pressure was coming every time towards him, is what made him who he is. But that became him doing everything else before the game.
Right. No. And I mean, taking it back to the team component.
It's DJ turn. It's DJ though. We're not going.
Go ahead. Go ahead, brother.
Like, yeah, DJ, go ahead.
Podcast. I still got to build off of it. Hey, regardless, I would like go ahead because I think what you're about to say is about to propel me as well.
Well, I was just going to say, going back to the team element about the transfer portal. Remember, like, he got there. Most of the Colorado team that was there is not there anymore. They had to leave. And he told them, you have to work. You have to earn your place here. And guess what? Most of them left. But look at what's happening now. 20 season. And shout out, and I can't remember the guy's name. They talk about the one gentleman that, like, he stayed. Most of his teammates left. He stayed. And he believed in the program. And he's been a very key player for Colorado. So, like, going back to your team, and if you're the person that's on the team and you know other people aren't showing up, you got to make a decision. Are you going to show up? Are you going to stay when times get hard? Or, whatever. What works best for you, especially with your talents and the goals that you're trying to achieve. So it's not a cookie cutter thing. It's not a one size fit all. It is take your time, know who you are, know what your goals are, and make the appropriate adjustments as need be.
Facts.
I'm done, DJ.
Look, what you drinking? You make it look too good on the podcast. Look, you over there drinking.
This is juice.
Oh, it's juice.
We saw that she having a nightcap over there.
a morning brunch memo.
Yeah. Morning cab, morning a lot.
But yeah, going back to the fact that I'm glad that we're coming from both standpoints, from the being on the team and being the leadership, because to be honest, the 90% thing we was talking about earlier, like, that is the number one thing. Like, if you're looking in the mirror, like, am I a bad leader? Moving the finish line closer is one thing that you have to work on as a leader, because everybody wants to move the finish line closer, because that means that, okay, we hit the goal. But did you really hit the goal if you're moving the finish line closer, right? And so coming from the employee standpoint, I feel like I've always looked up and seen, okay, that's a bad leader. If from my standpoint, I feel like this is a bad leader and I need to get off this team if they're moving that finish line closer, because I'm built for the pressure. I'm built for this game. I'm not built for this, the shortcomings of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Don't move the benchmark. Don't move the benchmark.
Yeah. I never considered that part of it, but what I will say is I think so many people who are in leadership positions, whatever your title is, CEO, manager, boss, whatever, team lead, really underestimate the level of impact that they have, because they are setting the tone for the team. Like, you're setting the tempo, you're setting the tone, like, you are the catalyst. So you're either going to teach them, you're teaching your team, if you're moving that goalpost, to settle and to not aim high, or you're going to teach them to not operate in integrity. You're going to teach them to take shortcuts. Or flip side, you're going to teach them to excel and to perform under pressure and to prepare and how to navigate circumstances that you don't have any control over. There are things that you can teach your team. So a lot of the teams that I've seen, and obviously this is beyond sports that I'm talking about, but a lot of teams that I've seen that weren't doing well, that failed, is because of the leadership.
It's always because of the leadership. Let's be honest. I'll be honest with you, because if you're not performing and you're that dude that is not doing your job, you should I like you. You're a good person. You're on a separate note. We're gonna sit down and break bread. You're invited to my house. You're gonna sit down with my wife and my kids. But on the field, I can't have you. In my team, I can't have you. And the reality is this. You said it, and this is why I was asking. And this is something that I always reflect back to. I've been sharing with you guys all year. Like, we're always asking, like, where you at, Jorge? Bro, this has been the year of reflect, like, for real. Like, and anything that has not gone right in my space, I don't look at Alala, I don't look at DJ, I look at Jorge. Why is this is not happening? And as a leader, you got to continue to look at, okay, do we continue to have the same players in line? Do we continue to, because if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And this is not an attack to nobody's character. This is an attack to, don't move the bench line just to make other people feel good, or don't move the bench line just for you as a leader feel good. And I want to say that majority of the time when your team is not winning, it goes back to your leader. If Dion did not go in there, there's a reason why they're winning. He went in there with a winning culture. He went with a winning spirit. He went in there with some, I don't care what your opinion is. I know what works. I know what I'm accustomed to doing is winning. and this is how I'm gonna go about this. Do you understand that they didn't even have the money for him to bring him in, and they made it happen? That's how much they believed in what he actually brought to the table. Like they made a power move on the organization themselves, understanding who they were bringing in. Like they made a commitment on in regards to who was gonna lead their team. And so it does. You're right, Aladai. It does fall on the leader, because even Dion, if his son is not performing, hear me out. Even if his son is not performing, then he shouldn't be in the position of leading his squad as first string quarterback, right?
Well, let's go back to the benchmark thing though, because you said we don't want to move it at all. Like we just don't want to move it closer. Moving it farther away is a good thing sometimes.
No, but that's not. But can I be honest with you? When you get to a point that you hit the benchmark, you move the benchmark again. So we're not talking about moving it forward. I'm talking about for those that going back to the statement that Alalai was talking about. Some of us feel good just because we went and checked off certain things. Like that's not it, bro. And you will
But you put the pads on, then we go to the field.
You're gonna move the benchmark. You're gonna move the benchmark to where you at, and say, "Well, I showed up. That's 90, man. Yesterday we did 70. Okay, but why would he hit the 100? Because if you actually are at 90, right? My point is, if you're actually 100 and you do everything you need to do, then you hit 90. That's all right. We move the benchmark again from 90 to 100. So we're not talking about like that's it. Maybe that needs to be explained, because in my head, I don't think that needed to be explained, right? I'm talking about when you move the benchmark towards yourself. That's a negative. It's like football, right? You don't know about football like that, but every 10 yards you get to advance. Every 10 yards, right? Now you get four. You don't get four. You get 4 tries. You get 4 downs, right? You don't go 4-1. And then they say, well, we're going to give you that because, you got close to that 10 yards. No, people will lose. You have turned the ball over at 4 inches, period. At the goal, at the right there, the red zone, right? 4 inches. And nope, you're denied. That's how real life works. But people in leadership or people in life, just in general, you gotta stop just like, oh, okay, we like, let's celebrate. We did 4 inches. No, you did not touchdown. You did not, and that's why the greats, I'm a Michael Jordan, Kobe, Tom Brady, like we could go on like there's a theme that they're pissed, they're upset when they don't care about their stats, because they didn't win. Like it don't matter if they had a triple double. It didn't matter if my man had so many touchdowns. If they didn't win that game, it doesn't mean, none of it means anything. So a lot of individuals are so caught up on their own performance, but your team is not right? You're winning at a high level, but you're still losing. You look sweet, but you look sweet in a group of individuals that are, that are not winning. And so that reflects back on you as a leader, because what you're not doing as someone that knows how to win, are you pouring back into your team? Are you showing them what is it like? Are you motivating them? Are you holding them accountable to like, yo, let's show up, bro? The only reason you guys are not scoring is because you're not hitting the bench. You know what I'm saying? Physically doing what you need to do. So there's a lot of layers to this, DJ. But what it consists of is again, starting with what I said and going off of what LLI said. It does start with leadership. It doesn't matter how you dress it in different ways, and you could come at it like at the end of the day, if it's not working, you cut that. You got to make that adjustment. And if you don't, then that goes back on you, period. And that's why when you do business does not have emotion. And if it's simple as if it works or it doesn't. And we all get on calls and we talk about analytics and identifying. We sit here and we work on like making sure like, yo, okay, what product do we put? And a lot of times we got to do what? We got to scratch it. It's like, okay, that wasn't it. We've been doing this for 6 months. That wasn't it. What's next, right? And so a lot of us fall in love with the idea, with the situation, and not fall in love with the winning part of it. And that's what we have to really, as we go into the new season, really start understanding that Deion Sanders, right? These leaders in these organizations, these leaders in the school districts, right? Shout out to Principal Seymour. She's one of those leaders that she does whatever it takes to make sure that she brings whoever she needs to bring, make the proper adjustment, put herself in the front line, lead by example, be the first one in there, the last one out, right? And that's the type of leadership that you need to be able to get that trophy, that championship, that recognition. And sometimes you might go into a team that you inherited a lot of negative behaviors, patterns, and you're working backwards, right? But that's where you actually look at, okay, we are better than last year, right? Because you might not win the championship this year, but okay, the numbers show that we're definitely better. Okay, so what's the benchmark? Now we hit another benchmark, and now you hit it, and then now in 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, this school is known as like, yo, this was one of the most turnaround academia in the region. Why? It started from the top down. It started from the leader, from Principal Seymour, all the way down to the students, and now you can start seeing the fruits of the labor. So there's certain programs you're going to go into that you are inheriting a lot of broken down systems, processes, no trust within themselves. But that's why my man Dion did what? He came in with his own crew. He recruited from outside. And then those that adapted to the environment. So there's a lot to identify when you are looking at what that statement means, working under pressure, because it all comes at once. But you have to, number one, be true to who you are. What are your true beliefs? What's your values? And you can't be scared of confrontation when something doesn't work or when something is working, right? I think that a lot of times we as leaders, we like, oh, okay, it's not Jorge the one winning. Why I'm not praising Alalai because she stepped up and she's doing X, Y, Z. And then because there's leaders like that. As weird as it is, it's like they become confrontational on the low because they're not the one getting the praise because we're winning. I'll be honest with you, and I'll leave you with this. I always make the statement. I don't care if I'm the water boy. We all get a ring at the end of this season. We all get a win once we get the championship. My thing, I'm not trying to be famous. I'm not trying to be like, I'm not on that. I want to financially support my family, but most importantly, I want to be impactful, just like my mentor Roy. Just like I started talking into the beginning of this podcast, a man at his caliber that when he's gone, he's changed how many lives, right? Like I'll be going to his funeral on Tuesday, and that's gonna be like it's gonna be tough for me. But I'm grateful that this man was able to do what he did, and he was faithful to because that, to me in my heart, that's what made me the leader that I am today and allowed me to do it with integrity. So again, identify like what is that pressure you're talking about, because 9 out of 10 times you're actually creating your own pressure. You're falsely creating this space where it's like, I can't breathe, but it's like, okay, just stop, slow down, take a second, now breathe. So yeah, man, that's where I'm at with it.
Respect. Hey, so the subject today was applying. Ally, you have anything to
close it out, Ally? Close it out, Ally. Give him something fire.
Yeah. Talking about applying pressure, huh? No, I mean, I think we gave some very tangible examples of how people can show up in their daily life, things they need to evaluate. And now it's up to you. This is how it goes in every situation. You are given information, you're given insight. If nothing else, we gave you examples where you can go and research and get more motivation and more ideas of ways that you can execute better in your life, so that when those times that pop up that you're come out of left field you're not ready for, you can still perform at a high level. And this is across the board, not just finances, not just games, football games. We're talking about it every aspect. Sometimes you guys need to show up emotionally. You need to show up spiritually. You need to be the one that leads. And a lot of you guys are hiding, and you feel the pressure of hiding. Now is the time for you to step up, to take control, to make decisions that are in alignment with your values, so that when we talk about legacy, we can be talking about you next year, like we talked about Dion this year.
Let's go.
Hey, close it out. Close it out. So check this out, y'all. We got a new podcast structure. So for all y'all who are the big intro skippers, don't do that no more. We're gonna start explaining what we're doing. You know what I'm saying? Explaining the full subject in full. So there's no ifs, ands, or buts before the podcast. So new structure. Make sure y'all follow us on every platform possible from the podcast, and also follow Jorge on social media and check out his site because there's some dope stuff, and booking is definitely open for 2023, 2024. So applying pressure, baby. We'll see y'all next week.
Peace.
Toodles.